Welcome to another exciting edition of Riot Radio Television. It's fucking cold out here. I think that's our fellas right there. We're gonna be doing Clutch and Fu Manchu this evening. You can see on the marquee. I think the boys are pulling up right now. Doing another show here at the world famous Masquerade in Atlanta, Georgia. Temperatures dip down to a ball freezing 40 some odd degrees with a wind chill factor of fuck. And yeah, we're gonna talk to the fellas here in a minute and find out what's going on. All right, Riot Radio TV's back. We got Neil. We stole Neil for a minute here from Clutch, and he's in the middle of a sound check, so we're going to have to let him go back here in just a moment. So we're just going to ask him about Blast Tyrant, the new album. Hell of an album.
Thank you.
Enjoying that a lot. And I wanted to ask you about, because we got a chance to check out some of the other bands that we've done and everything. A lot of stuff sounds a lot alike, like every song sounds pretty similar. You guys seem to have quite a range, and I wanted to ask you about, I can't remember if it was track number 6, kind of has a real southern rock.
That would be The Regulator, I believe.
The Regulator. Kind of starts out, almost sounds a little bit like Allman Brothers there to start off.
Oh, thank you.
Really good stuff. So would some of that southern rock stuff be some of your influences, or some of the stuff you enjoy to listen to?
Absolutely. I think southern rock is closer to the blues than other regional rocks, and we listen to a lot of blues and listen to bands like the Allman Brothers and Skinner and what have you, just because we enjoy to, and when I guess that becomes an influence just by default of listening to it all the time. And you know, if you say it sounds like the Allman Brothers, I take that as a high compliment.
No, it does. It does. It sounds like the Allman Brothers right there at the beginning. Was it Midnight Rider, I believe, is the one that sounds most like.
It's a country blues thing. Probably we're both looking at.
But great lyrics, booze and broads and beers and women and jacked up Fords and hot rods and
all the things that make rock and roll good.
Absolutely. And you seem to be an older fella. I'm
33.
33, and still rocking.
Yeah.
When did you guys get started?
13 years ago.
Wow.
So our first show was in '91.
So it's been a long road. Seen a lot of changes in the band. I actually met one of your biggest fans out in the parking lot, just released from jail here recently.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah. But yeah, he couldn't wait to get out of the joint to make the show. So
nice.
Yeah, so he came up to enjoy some of that, and I got a chance to sit in his Tercel out there and listen to some of your older stuff, still on tapes and bootlegs. And nice. I was going to ask you, what do you do for your vocals? Do you put any effects on the mic for your vocals? Is that all you?
Live, we don't do any effects. I mean, Shure 58, you know, is an effect unto itself, and I mean, and there'll be occasionally they'll throw in some delays, but for me, you know, I will lose my voice, especially in the winter times. You know, it's just the nature of the beast. But just try to sing from the gut and not the back of the throat, and that usually works for me.
I would say from the gut and from the nut. I mean, there's some heavy sound to these guys, and real, like you said, blues bass, real rock, straight up, good hard rock, which you don't catch a lot of these days with these newer bands. They all went grunge and heavy and hard with double bass and this and that and the other, but you can really pick out a lot of the talent that you guys have. And
thank you. I think we just try to be, you know, as open-minded towards music as we can be, and try to be as good players as we can. I mean, we're still a hard rock act, and we always will be, but we're not particularly concerned with what our contemporaries are doing. We look more towards older bands, not for any nostalgia's sake. I just think there was an element of musicianship that existed then that it's kind of gotten a bit diluted these days.
Well said.
And visually, you know, is becoming more important. And with us, it's just, you know, what you hear is what you get. That's it.
Just play it.
Yep.
It sounds really, really good. It's Blast Tyrants, the new album. They got 7 or 8. How many albums out?
It's something like that, 7 or 8.
7 or 8. And I noticed that you personally have picked up the guitar over the last couple. You didn't start out playing guitar, from what I understand.
Yeah, I could play guitar, you know, mediocre. But singing and playing at the same time is very difficult for me if someone else wrote the riff, because it's a split brain operation that's a bit challenging. In the event that I happen to write it, it's a little easier. But adding another guitar definitely fills out the sound in stereo on stage, and On some songs that I can't play, our guitar tech will come and play with us, Brian
cool.
Hinckley. He's in a band called Never Been Caught, and we're going to go out on the road with them right around Christmas.
So you're going to play through Christmas?
No, actually, 2 more days, and then we go home for about 10 days, and then we start again on the 27th, and then finish up around the 2nd. Not very long, just do another 10 days.
Just another quick one.
And then try to record a new
Where are you going to
record.
be New Year's?
Philadelphia.
Philly. Watch out, Philly. They're coming your way. When are we going to see you back down here on the south side?
I haven't the slightest idea.
Not yet.
I know we will because we come down here regularly.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of when. I would imagine probably before winter's over.
Mm-hmm. So your tour schedule stays pretty packed.
Yeah, we break it up. We only do up to a month at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the days of doing 3 and 4 months are over, just because wives and kids, and we're just not in the mindset to stay out for that long.
Sure. You're a family man yourself?
Yep.
You got a baby? And
No, not yet.
not yet. Working on it?
One day. We got a dog, which is sort of like a good introduction.
Sure. Absolutely.
Like a permanent 2-year-old.
What kind of a dog do you got?
I have a Boston Terrier.
Nice. That's a good dog.
Yeah, I was told they have a lot of personality, which is, I guess, a euphemism for they eat a lot of your stuff. But he's a good guy.
Right on. What's the dog's name?
His name's Monty. It's short for Montgomery Burns.
Excellent.
Yes.
Release the hounds.
So tell me, the label you were, is it independent? Is that your own label, or is it DRT? What is it?
Well, Blast Tyrant came out on DRT, which is a relatively new label. Fu Manchu is also on DRT. There's a couple other artists that are on DRT, and they're one of the guys from Roadrunner's involved with it, and so far so good. We also have our own record label that we put out our own stuff. We put out a new live double album that we're selling at the show tonight. We sell on the internet as well. Because sometimes labels don't like to put out albums with the frequency that perhaps we would. And so rather than sit and wait for them to give us a green light, we just do it ourselves. Luckily, we live in a day and age where you can do that, with computers, and CDs are so much more convenient to produce than records ever were.
Yeah, you've obviously been approached by some major labels. Is there a reason why you haven't ever stepped into that arena? Or you guys prefer
we
to
did.
stay at
We did a bunch of times. And, it's... Well, first of all, the 90s, I think, when after Nirvana popped off, everybody wanted to throw as much money as they could to every rock band that came down the pike. Mm-hmm. And we were one of those bands. And they look for platinum hits. That's just the nature of those major labels. Right. That's how they make their money. We're not one of those bands, and we're a nightclub touring band that makes our living playing live shows. And I doubt we'll have some, multi-platinum records, but that's okay. That's not what we're after. So I think their hopes for us were a bit exaggerated, mm-hmm. and it could create some problems. And I think it's much more honest, and you get more artistic freedom, and it's more financially self-responsible to go with small independent labels or just do it yourself these mm-hmm. days. The internet is a wonderful resource for bands like ourselves that aren't, TRL.
Well, it's obvious that just listening to the music, it's a labor of love, and you guys put a lot of effort into it. Would love to know when we can expect the next one. You guys already working on some new material? Or?
Yeah, we're working on a lot of new material. We like to have a surplus. I mean, for every one riff that ends up on a record, 5 ended up in the trash can.
Right.
Hopefully we'll record this winter, and we'll have a album coming out in the springtime. All goes as planned. I mean, our plans usually go to shit anyway, but we'll do our best to get it out in the spring.
Right on. Well, very good. I know you're busy, and we're not going to take up too much of your time because you guys are getting the show on. But thanks again for your time, Neil. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
And enjoy the CD. Looking forward to the next one. And like I said, I'm sorry I missed the show, but if you want to come by the strip club later on, you can bring the fellas up, and I'll buy you guys around.
All right.
Does that sound good?
Twist arm.
All right. Cool. Another quickie with Riot Radio TV. Neil from Clutch. You guys check it out. Go to the website. It's on. How do they get to you? Well, I think I went straight to Clutch.
Yeah, there's 2 websites. One is prorock.com.
That's it.
It's PRO-rock. And our T-shirts and albums, some of them are available on merch.com. So that's two main websites.
So go grab it. Grab them get them while they're hot, people. All right, Neil, appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks for your time.
My
It was a
pleasure.
pleasure to meet you. Tune back in. We'll be back again with some more heavy-duty rock in your face.